Bonjour, mon ami. Do you want to become fluent in French and you have a hard time making conversation and practicing the French conversation on a daily basis? This is Llyane Stanfield, and you are watching French Minute with Llyane, where I'm giving you a sneak peek inside of my signature program, J'Ouellette Intensif, which helps you reach an advanced level of conversation. Today is day 5 of 24, and these videos expire from Facebook. So if you want to have unlimited access to all the 24 videos, the spelling of these expressions, of course, with the replays, to play and replay them as many times as you wish, please click on the link in the description of this video. So today I would like to give you a small sample from the lesson number 12 in level A. Just to remind you what level A is, even Alliance Française has that. The beginner level is A1, A2, the intermediate level is B1, B2, and the advanced level is split in C1 and C2. So J'Ouellette Intensif helps you reach the level C1, beginning of the level C1. Still advanced, so you are introduced to the subjunctif, if that tells you anything. So today's little sample from the lesson 12 is as follows. Est-ce que tu as encore faim? Oui, j'ai encore faim. Donne-moi de la viande. Est-ce que tu veux encore du pain? Oui, donne-moi. So I'm going to repeat and translate and explain. And oh yes, let me actually write this down under the video in the comments so that you can follow. Okay, that's working. Yeah. Okay. So, est-ce que tu as encore faim? Are you still hungry? Are you still hungry? Direct translation is, do you still have hunger? Very important to remember this expression. I am hungry in English is an adjective. How am I? I am hungry, an adjective. In French, I have hunger is the way that we express the same thing. We're not using an adjective. We are using a noun. And so a lot of beginners make this mistake of saying, je suis faim. I am hungry. I am hunger, really. Je suis faim. This is one of the basic mistakes that most people make at the beginning. So the reason it's not je suis faim is because in French, we're not saying I am hungry as an adjective. We're saying I have hunger. So, est-ce que tu as encore faim? Now, the word encore is translated here as still, right? Still. I'm going to go back to the translation and how can this word be translated in different words in English. The answer to this is oui, j'ai encore faim. Donne-moi de la viande. Yes, I am still hungry. Give me meat. So I would like to point out a few things here. Oui, j'ai encore faim. Yes, I am still hungry. Though in French will be I have still hunger, right? I am still hungry. Donne-moi. Donne-moi is the imperative, and this is a mode that is a little more tricky for the beginners, but in my program, we aim for conversation first, meaning we learn a few expressions at the beginning. This is lesson 12, so we actually do introduce the imperative by now. And imperative is the mode where I'm giving an order or make a request. Very important. A lot of people don't know what imperative mode is. And in French, because we do have these variations in conjugation, the conjugation is putting the verb in its different forms. we do need to know these names. So it's the imperative mode. Donne-moi de la viande. I would like to point out here another myth, that de la viande, the de in front of la viande, is most of the times translated by beginners with some meat, some. The de is translated as some. I would like to point out the fact that most of the times when we have de in front of a noun, it is not translated with anything. Give me bread, I like butter, I buy shoes. The de in front of the article la or le or les of the noun, really what it really does, it cancels out the translation of the word the in English. Much more often, I could easily say 80% of the times would be nothing in front of the name of the noun, would be bread, meat, give me meat, I like bread, I eat fish. So nothing in front of fish, and probably only 20% is translated with the word some. It really has to mean some so that I can translate it so. I'm really focusing on this a lot because it is taught in schools, programs, everywhere, that de is translated as some, and it could not be farther from the truth. It is, but percentage-wise, much less often than nothing at all in front of the noun. So in this case, it would be give me meat. It could also be give me some meat. Could also mean give me some meat. But what I really want to emphasize is that across the language, it most of the times is not translated with anything, and much less of the times is translated with the word some. I bought shoes. Same thing. I don't say in English I bought some shoes. I could if I really want to. See, in English is a little more specific. In French, this is either or. Do not translate all the time as the word some, because many times it just doesn't work right in translation. Next, est-ce que tu veux encore du pain? Now this one, this encore, so if you remember, the first encore was, are you still hungry? Still. And this one case, encore, is translated as, do you want more bread? Est-ce que tu veux encore du pain? Do you want more bread? Do you still want bread? Yeah, maybe I could translate it this way, probably. But it can also be translated as more. So there is, because English is so much more specific than French, there's a big, huge question mark. What do I translate with what? I mean, how come I have this same word translated in English in so many others? Well, that is because English is a word level language, meaning for each context, I may have a different word. French is a contextual language, meaning I can use the same word in different contexts and be translated differently in English. English must have probably a much larger vocabulary per se, number of words. This is the reason why Anglophones are obsessed with learning vocabulary, which for French is not as necessary. Look here, I'm using encore for two words in English, so vocabulary in French is a little less of an emphasis than in English. In French, the huge emphasis is how do we use the words, the phrase construction. After pronunciation, phrase construction starts, stays, and remains at the end, even for some advanced conversationalists, the challenge. Okay, so that's the one to focus on. Don't focus, please, on words. You have dictionaries and conjugation. You have conjugation books, websites that can take, and the more you look them up, the better you're going to remember. That's pretty simple. Phrase construction is different. And so if you focus on phrase construction, you will get the result that you want. You will be a fluid conversationalist. And if you don't have the actual word, you will be able to explain it with other words, and you will be well understood. And the answer to this question, and the question, est-ce que tu veux encore du pain? Oui, donne-moi. Oui, donne-moi, yes, give me some. All can mean some of it, some of them. And so it can be used in this particular construction example here for things that can be split or can be counted, like pencils, for instance, pencils, donne-moi, give me some of them. Cake, you can split the cake. Now, all really is overall is used, it replaces words that are preceded by the preposition de. So notice the question, est-ce que tu veux encore du pain? Oui, donne-moi du pain would be the full answer. And so if I replace du pain, which has de in front of it, du is made out of de plus le, then I'm going to be able to replace it with the word en. That's how we have oui, donne-moi. More to explain on this, so much I can do in a minute or a few minutes here, but this is the level for lesson 12, level A in the intensive, J'Ouellette Intensif. Again, remember that these videos expire from Facebook, and if you want to have access to all of them, anytime that you want to go back and to review them, you please click on the link in the description of this video and you will have access to all of them. This, for instance, what I talked about today is just one of, I'm going to say probably with big exactitude, maybe about 16 snippets, that contexts that are inside of this lesson 12. So it's just a tiny little bit, but I really want to give you a sense of the level and how inside of the intensive program I'm working with patterns, not memorization, but working with patterns and giving the brain exactly what it's looking for. The brain works with patterns, repetition, but not mechanical. Mechanical repetition works if you want to write back mechanical stuff. Meaning, if you are working with flashcards for vocabulary, you will become skilled at that, at returning words for flashcards. I mean, that's not necessarily in the same order, but it's not going to be a practice or a skill developed for context. When you want to work for context, meaning for a sentence to tell stories, because that's pretty much what we're doing when we're talking to someone, then this is the way to learn the language as if it was your mother tongue. So this is what I have for today. Stay on your game and keep going for your dreams to become bilingual. Learn to speak Parisian French and break your language barrier. Merci beaucoup, and I'll see you tomorrow. Au revoir.